Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.
Hi, this is George Swift from Bigger, Brighter, Bolder, and welcome to the Leveling Up Podcast. The Leveling Up Podcast is here to give you the personal development, the entrepreneurial development, and the business growth that you, the ambitious business owner, desires. I'm here to give you the inspiration, the motivation, but above all else, as always, to challenge your aspirations to take you and your business to the next level. Don't forget, subscribe to this podcast and never miss an episode. What an episode it is. Episode number 200. I cannot believe where has the time gone. If this is your first time listen, then thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Go and check out the other 200 or the other 199 episodes that I've got there designed specifically with the small, ambitious entrepreneur in mind. If you've been a long-term listener, I just want to say thank you right now for being a part of this. I committed right at the beginning to do 100 episodes. I'm not going to lie, at the end of that 100 episodes, it was going okay. I had some decent listens. And at that point, I thought, you know what? Do I continue with this or do I lean in? I thought, you know what? Let's lean in. I'm going to commit to another 100. Well, I tell you now, in that last 100, things have really taken off. And now we are getting thousands of listens from business owners just like you that are looking for sound advice, for some sage wisdom to help navigate the stormy, turbulent seas of entrepreneurship. And never has it been more needed than what we're going through right now. And that really is the topic for this 200th episode. And that is creating your own stability. If you've been listening to me over the past few months, as we've been going through the lockdowns and then as we've entered into the recession, and now of course we are fully immersed in what some are describing as literally the worst economic times in history, then of course I've been talking about emotional stability in different guises for some time. It's so important that we have that internal emotional stability. However, I'm going to be talking to you about all stability. Stability in your business model, stability in your life. It's absolutely essential that we create our own stability right now. It's human nature to look externally for that stability and that certainty. It's human nature to lean on other people and to lean on things to create that stability that we're looking for in life. We took so much for granted, right? And that's one of the things that this has shown us is we took it for granted that our kids would go to school. We took it for granted that we would go on holiday. We took it for granted that we'd be able to just walk freely around our own country. We took a lot of things for granted. And when you start to take those things away, when they start to be eroded, it starts to create a very destabilizing sense and feeling within us. And that can make us feel uncertain at one level. But I'll be honest with you, it can also make us feel very deeply anxious, fearful, worried, concerned, even potentially terrified. So we cannot look externally anymore. We can't rely on the fact that the schools have opened up and the kids are going to stay at school. We can't rely on that. We can hope for that, but we can't rely on that. We can't rely on the fact that our business is going to be able to continue to trade the way it is now. Go back 6-7 months ago, we would presume that our businesses would have carried on trading the way they were then. And for most businesses, they've had to dramatically change how they do business, either the products they sell, the services they deliver, or how they potentially sell those services and products, or even just how they deliver the product and how they go about their day-to-day business in business. We just can't take all these things for granted anymore. And that is really unsettling. And that's why it's so important that we create our own stability. So first and foremost, I'm going to talk to you about emotional stability. I've talked a lot about this over the past few months or so, maybe even more, going back through the whole of the lockdown, because if we can't keep ourselves in the game, if we can't keep our emotions under our control or certainly under our own influence, then our emotions will run riot. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had my moments. I've had my mental breakdowns. I've been sat in the garden screaming at the skies. I've been sat at the TV screaming at the television, looking for answers, looking for help, looking for hope, looking for common sense sometimes that seems to be missing. So I've been there myself. It's not about never losing it. It's about never losing it for too long. We want to make sure we bring ourselves back. The analogy I've shared before in this podcast is one of the tee in tennis. When you get yourself back to the tee in tennis, you can cover the whole court from that position. If I chase the ball up to the net and then stay at the net, The guy's going to lob that ball straight over my head to the baseline. I have to then run back to the baseline. He'll then drop it just over the net. It's only a couple of shots until inevitably I run out of steam, trip over my own feet or something, and ultimately lose the point. So what you do is you get yourself back to the tee every single shot, because from the tee, you can cover the court. Your emotional stability is that metaphorical coming back to the tee. You can lose it, you can get angry, frustrated, you can be scared and fearful, be crazy to not allow ourselves to have those emotions. They're very real and they're very justified and they're very valid right now. However, we can't hang out in them for too long because they don't serve us and they're not going to solve the problems that we face in life, and certainly not the ones we face in business. So it's okay to lose it. It's okay to get worried, concerned. It's okay to freak out and be terrified every now and again. You want to bring yourself back to that tee, because from that tee, you can cover the net. From that tee, we can regroup, reset, we can think clearly, we can be creative, innovative, we can be productive, and we can do the things we need to do in order to mitigate the circumstances and the impact of those circumstances, but also so we can get back on track, build that foundation of stability, and then we can start to continue to grow ourselves, grow our businesses, and grow our lives. And I tell you now, it is there for the taking. We've just gone through our Q3 board meetings where every member has to report into us about how they're doing against their growth goals. Well, you might think from outside of the group that most of those goals would be written off by now. It couldn't be further from the truth. Many of my business owners, and we've got 75 to 80 of them, I think, right now. Many of those business owners are still on track to having the growth in their business that they set out to have in January. Has it been lumpy? Yes. Has it been bumpy? Yes. Have they been lucky? No. What they've done is they've kept themselves in the game, they've kept their head in the game, and they keep resetting to that tee. And have they freaked out and lost it? Most of them definitely. But they regroup, they come back to the sessions, they ask the questions. As a team, we resolve their problems. They go out there, they innovate, they create, they implement, and they're getting themselves back on track. It's out there for you. You can continue to grow your business. You just might need to make some changes to how you're doing things, and you may need to do a big upgrade in your mindset to get you back in the game so that you can start playing full out and you can start getting the results that you would have expected had the last 6 months and whatever we're going into not occurred. So emotional stability enables you to stay in the game, keeps you motivated, stops you from getting drowned, stops you from getting pulled down, sucked down into the darkness, down into the negativity that's out there, the hopelessness that I see in some people and some businesses. So you've got to create your own stability. This is essential in good times. It's even more essential right now going through whatever the hell this is that we're going through right now. Call it recession if you want. But this is like no recession we've ever gone through. It's being concealed and hidden. I've said this before because, of course, it's been artificially propped up by government at the moment. The furlough scheme, the bounce back loans, the grants that have been given out, the new schemes that are coming down the line. Someone's going to have to pay for that at some point. We are in a full-blown recession. It is a mother of a recession. We're not really seeing the full impact just yet because it's artificially being propped up. But it is a tsunami, and not wanting to scare you or terrify you, it's a tsunami that is at sea coming through. We're in it right now. We just can't feel it. That tsunami is going to hit, and at some point we're going to really feel the effects of what's actually going on out there. So this isn't to terrify you. This is to put a rocket up your ass and say, you know what? If you're running around like a crazy ass fly going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this, that, the other, and 1 minute you're up and 1 minute you're down and 1 minute you're creative, next minute you're in bed hiding, you want to make sure you get yourself to that emotionally stable place. Do the work you need to, take the space you need to, the exercise, the meditation, the yoga, the mindfulness, the journaling, the walks in nature, the exercise, the swimming, whatever it is you need to do to give yourself the space to start to take the reins again of your own emotions so that they start to become your servant rather than your master. Once you've got yourself in a stable place, then the next thing is you want to bring stability to your business. Now, this is every area and aspect of your business, from the product and the service that you deliver, all the way through to your pricing models, your pricing strategies, how you deliver those products, those services, how you sell them, how you market them. You need to make sure that you create the stability that you need in your business model and in your business as a whole that you can't get from the external world right now. You do not want to be a business owner crossing your fingers, sitting on the bosom of government, suckling on whatever freebies or handouts they give out, hoping that they unlock your town, or hoping that they allow you to do business and trade the way that you used to do back in January, February and March. We don't want to be sitting there holding onto the edge of the cliff with the waters rising, hoping that the water doesn't consume us, or hoping that someone's going to throw a rope down. We have to climb for ourselves. Take whatever's on offer by all means, but you want to be independent, okay? You want to be a sovereign individual. You don't want to be nestling, as I keep saying, nursing on that bosom of government on handouts. And you certainly don't want to be racking up debts with the bank and credit cards, etc. So you want to make sure that you build that financial stability into your business so that if the government turns off the milk, if suddenly you're not able to borrow money, you have the financial stability that you need to have in place in order to be able to continue to live your life the way you're living your life, but continue to trade as a business. For some, that will be having a certain amount of capital sitting in the bank. For others, it's about having a business model that reliably works in the economy as it is today, but also reliably works with the restrictions to the human movement that we're all paying the price of right now. So you don't want to be sitting there thinking, I hope that the government continues to give me free handouts, because if they stop giving them, that's it, your lifeline's gone. You don't want to be sitting there with your credit lines open with the bank, because if they suddenly stop those credit lines, you're gone. By all means, take what's on offer, but you need to build that financial stability into your business. How can you trade? A real true story. I shared this, I think, on a previous episode right in the middle of lockdown. And my local chip shop was shut for about 2 weeks. They didn't have to, by the way. This was back in the days when they weren't really sure what they could do and couldn't do. And they did lock down for 2 weeks. And then my chip shop opened up about sort of 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks into lockdown, and were doing trade. Across the road, there's a Subway, right? A franchise Subway. And I remember the business owner being on a forum really in terrible times, really suffering like many businesses did, especially retail businesses and food outlets, really struggling, but they weren't open. And I know there were restrictions in place, and I get all of that, but everything in me was like, there must be a way, right? Get your business on Deliveroo, go and, I don't know, stick it on a bike yourself, and deliver by hand. Find a way to keep that business open. And I saw this business just sitting, and I get it, right? The furlough scheme's in place, the grants were in place, and maybe they did their maths and they thought, you know what, it might be safer just to shut down and lock down and everything else. But honestly, for me, it's much better if you take responsibility for creating that stability for yourself rather than relying on handouts and stuff like that. I wish them every good, and I hope they do okay. They're still open. They're back open now. But my God, they took a big hit. And it was just an example for me of kind of like, they're both strategies. One is to open up, make the best of it, and navigate your way through the world as it was, and go out and take responsibility for making your own money. The other one was to shut down and, as I keep saying, nurse on the bosom of government. And I just looked at these two and I thought, you know what? I know which one has the stability built in, right? The one that the person takes responsibility for, where they create that financial stability themselves rather than hoping, crossing fingers, that someone else does it for them. So make sure the money's in place, the business model's in place. Don't hope for the world to go back to normal. Create a business that works regardless of what comes. So, of course, there could be unforeseen circumstances. We may have to re-engineer again. We may have to pivot again. My God, that term was massively overused, wasn't it, in April, May time? But we may have to re-engineer our business again, be creative and innovate. We don't know what's coming around the corner. But fundamentally, we want to build our business that works now in the world as it is today, but also one that's still robust and stable, given that we may go back into lockdown. If you listen to this in certain areas in the UK and around the world, you still are currently in lockdown. But if you're not in lockdown, we are constantly under the threat of lockdown or further restrictions, whether it's just our own personal movement or whether it's in terms of how we can do our business. Build that stability, build that robustness into your business if you haven't done so already. Many of my business owners across success groups and in our masterminds, they've had to change their business. Some of them, it's a tweak to how they deliver. For some of them, it's a tweak in terms of how they market their business or how they do sales. For some, they've had to completely re-engineer their proposition to work in the world as it was maybe a couple of months ago, 2 months ago, and as it is now, but also building in that robustness of what might come around the corner. So again, the message is over and over again. We're used to relying on certain things outside of ourselves. We're used to having certain expectations that we took for granted. We can't take those for granted right now. And therefore, we need to build the stability in ourselves, because otherwise, if we're looking externally, hoping the government makes the right choices for us, hoping the course of the virus goes a certain way, or just relying on other things to happen to enable you to find that stability, to create that stability outside so that you can feel safe inside your business. For me, it's just not the right way to go. You want to create the stability inside your business, the reliability inside your business that you can rely on. And the third thing I want to talk to you about is family, friends, your life. Once again, 1 minute you can go and meet people, the next minute you're not meant to go and see people. 1 minute you can see some people, but not other people. Another week, they'll turn around and they'll restrict the numbers of people inside, but you can meet outside. It's always changing. Things that we would just take for granted, going to see mum, driving to go and see family, having a barbecue, having a party, having a wedding, having a normal funeral. All these things that we would expect to have that create this degree of stability in the world around us that enables us to feel safe so that we can then function inside our own lives and inside our own businesses and inside our own selves. That is just missing right now. It's really uncertain. We are in an era of uncertainty. I said back in towards the end of March and into April and May, that was the era of fear. It was fear everywhere, fear in the media. The numbers are all about fear. Everyone was scaremongering everyone, not just in the UK, across the world. Governments terrifying their people and the media terrifying their readers and their viewers. And that was the era of fear. But fear doesn't last very long. We can only live in fear for so long, because inevitably what happens is after a month or 2 months or 3 months, our brain starts to get the message that actually we're pretty safe and actually we're unlikely to have anything really bad happen to us, and then the fear starts to dissipate. So actually I'm less bothered about things like fear because it's short-lived. What I am much more concerned about is underlying uncertainty. That can go on chronically unchecked for months and for years. And that's the era we're in right now. We've been in it since lockdowns ended. We then go into an uncertain future, and now we find ourselves back in that uncertainty. Things seemingly changing from one day to the next, if not certainly 1 week to the next. That uncertainty in our life, in our lifestyle, how we live our life is incredibly stressful. Unbelievably so. You may be attuned to it and you might be able to see it in yourself, your kids, your family, the people around you, and be able to see that stress. But if not, I promise you it's there. It's incredibly stressful to not be able to do the things that you were used to doing, the patterns of behavior, the habits that you created, just, the way you went to the gym or the way you went to the pub or went to a gig. Maybe you went to sporting events, to pubs, to clubs, the things that you did that were just normal, these habitual things that were part of your life that created the stability of life so that you could operate in degrees of uncertainty in other areas of your life because you had these other stabilizing factors that you could lean on. They've all been taken away. Our lives, our businesses, and ourselves. For many of us, the foundations that we built ourselves on, the external foundations, just aren't present anymore. And therefore, we find ourselves on very wobbly foundations, that uncertainty, which is destabilizing. And whilst we are existing in a very destabilized world, a very destabilized country, a very destabilized economy, it's very hard for us to be able to navigate that on our own terms. And it's normal then to end up screaming at the sky, screaming at the television, saying, help me, please help me, crossing your fingers, hiding under the bed and just hoping. If we start to bring the stability back to our lives across all areas, we can start to lean on that stability that is under our control so that we can then continue to navigate a very uncertain world. It starts with our emotional stability in us. It starts with creating a business that is stable, independent of what's going on outside and what decisions are being made outside. And it's about creating a life that works for you. You might need to make some changes. You're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to make some compromises. Depending on your personality type, you may even decide to break some rules. But whatever you do, you need to find the world that works for you, independent of what's going on outside of yourself. I want you to have the reins of your life, the reins of your emotions and the reins of your business. I don't want you hoping that someone outside of you is going to make the right decision, or that things are going to happen in a way that you're hoping for so that you can go back to normal. I want like nothing on earth for every single business owner across this country, across this world, to continue to have the opportunity that they had just 6-7 months ago. I believe it's still on offer. I believe we need to adapt. We need to evolve. I believe that circumstances will continue to be unsettled. I think we're in an era of uncertainty, and therefore it's very destabilizing for us as human beings and as business owners. And therefore this episode number 200 is all about calling upon you to engineer your life, re-engineer your life, to make decisions about what's important to you, what isn't important to you, what you will follow, what you won't follow, what makes sense to you, what doesn't make sense to you, to build a business that can operate independent of other people's decisions, that you can create the fulfillment in yourself, the experience of life that you want to have for you, your family, your loved ones, your friends, your community. You can do that independent of whatever decisions and choices are being made on your behalf. That's what this is a call for, to take the reins, take control, to bring the stability into yourself, into your business and into your life that you just simply cannot rely upon right now, external to you. Bring that stability. From that place of stability, you are much better equipped to handle navigating the uncertainty that surrounds us right now. Awesome. Once again, thank you for listening. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it right now. I do not take it lightly that you've chosen to spend these 20 minutes with me. I'm well aware there is a lot out there right now vying for your time and vying for your attention. And therefore, my commitment to you for the past 200 episodes, and it's my commitment to you for the next 100 and beyond, is to give you the best content I possibly can to help you navigate your own journey of entrepreneurism and your own journey of success. If you want a helping hand, if you want to join our group, or at least look at potentially what we might be able to offer you as a business that creates that stability in our groups, in our environments, we help you set your goals, stick to those goals. We keep you motivated, on track. We support you through the tough times. We cheer you in the good times. And we've created this incredible culture. It's what I call right now our arc. It was a bit of a secret at the end of March when we knew what was coming as they were starting to announce the lockdowns. We turned around and said, you know what, we're going to take what we've created across success groups and we're going to double down. And that's exactly what we did through the whole of lockdown, and we've continued with that theme throughout. And that is to create a safe haven, somewhere where we help support you, and each and every one of you support each other in order to navigate these stormy seas. It's an arc. It's an arc, and it's not 2x2s. We have 80 business owners right now, just like you, that are, number one, regrouping, number two, continuing to grow their businesses. I often describe Bigger, Brighter, Bolder and our success groups as a piñata. Often you see in the world out there, you see these great marketeers that create these incredible products on the outside, but when you open them up, there's very little substance on the inside. I described us as a piñata not so long ago, and it's a definition that stuck with me. If you imagine a piñata, it's a little bit shabby around the outside sometimes. You know, it's not the best marketing, it's not the shiniest product, but you beat that thing with a stick and oh my God, it pisses value. We've got goal-setting systems, goal-setting applications. We've got hundreds of hours of content. We produce live content every single month, Q&As on digital marketing, on sales, on general business activities. We have groups designed specifically to meet you where you're at and take you to that next level, and more and more and more. If you want to check us out and see how we might be able to support you in getting you the business and the life that you want, then go and check us out at biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk. I'll put the link in the description below, as well as a link to some other resources to help you. But also, if you're ready to talk to us and you really want to explore what's on offer here, then please speak to Tracy Miller. You'll see her email address also in the descriptions, tracy.miller@biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk. She's my partner in life and my partner in business. BBB's been going now for over 10 years. This is our 11th year. We are going strong. We've had to navigate a lot of our own stormy seas, and we've created this incredible infrastructure, environment and culture to support you in creating the quality of life that you want, creating the business success that you want, and having the experience of life that you want to have. So either check us out on the website if you're a little bit shy, or if you're ready to have a conversation, talk to Tracy Miller, let her talk to you about what we can do for you. Otherwise, I will see you next time for episode 201. Here's to the next century. Here's to the next 100 episodes. I'll see you then. Until then, as always, be successful.
Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.